Hey there, Vidette. So I wanted to give you an update to your updates that you posted to the Facebook group. So yesterday we were talking about getting the character to read a little better and getting the attention focused on the character. And we were going to do that with getting the character to be light over dark. So you've created a couple posts here. You've got this one without the volumetric light and this one with the volumetric light. Now, while I like the kind of wow factor and fantastical element of this, I feel overall that the composition, it's just a little bit too much fighting the brightness in the foreground, and it just feels a little bit too, it's just like it's a little bit too much for a night scene. So if it's my preference, and again, I'm just going to talk my preferences. This is your shot and we're here to help you. So I'll just talk through the way that I would approach it. So I would go back to this one and start from here and really try to push and pull the values to get the character to read forward. And also we talked about getting warm values over cool values. So what I did was I created a little bit of a mock-up to kind of simulate the way that would go. Again, this is a 2D mock-up. It's just done here in Photoshop. I like to do this with my own work because it helps me kind of get an understanding and a grasp of it a little bit better. It's not meant to be the final product, as you'll see, but I'll just kind of show you my process here. So the first thing I did was I looked at this and I thought, like, how do we get this character to read more? How do we get the attention more on the baby? Now, I thought that it's nice that we're getting more brightness in the foreground and darkness in the background. I think we can push that even further. I went ahead and darkened up the background even further, and getting those values to go down creates the brighter tone of the character to move forward a little bit. You're doing a really nice job of getting depth of field in there and creating a little bit of background blur. I think we can push that even further and get it even blurrier, because now these lines start to go away and it becomes more about this shape where these values aren't going to be too distracting for us. Now, if we create that much background depth of field, we're going to want a little bit here in the foreground as well. So I went ahead and blurred up a little bit in the foreground. Now, obviously, you'll be using a Z-pass or a depth pass to create that depth of field, or perhaps like an in-camera depth of field render as well. But this is, again, just to give you a little bit of a visualization. Now, is this more than a realistic camera would have in this setting? I think probably it would be, because this looks a little bit like a wide angle lens, and usually it's more telephoto lens get more depth of field, but I think we can get away with it. I think we can push this and use our artistic license a little bit to create these values. From there, what I went ahead and wanted to do, because my thought was like the baby's getting some nice warm light, you're getting some good shaping, but we're not really seeing it in the environment here. So just an idea of creating some off-camera sconce lights to really bring some light into this foreground area and hit the baby. And now that we're doing that, I think we can even up the baby's value just a little bit more to get him to read over the background. So I think all of these things built together can create a nice composition. And then from there, we can get into some more specifics, like we can do some more shaping on the eyes and do some subtle detail on the skin, deal with like how we're going to make these Legos look a little better, some natural vignetting, all that kind of good stuff. But I think this is the structure that I would work on moving forward. So take a look. Again, here's where we started and here's where we ended up. But just take a look. Let me know if this feels right to you, if this is the direction you want to go, and we'll work towards that. And I can't wait to see how these things progress. All right, happy lighting.